Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Secret Base figure preview video. Before we begin, I want to say a massive thank you to Ryan Kirkwood for going out in person and snapping these gorgeous high-res pictures. Show Ryan some love in the comments below because without him, this series literally wouldn't be possible. Now, I'm getting my copy of the Iron Man Mark II Diecast 2.0 from Pop Collectibles. As always though, do your own research. Make sure you are comfortable before buying. I have popped the link to their site in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new figure preview video goes live on the channel. Now, Hot Toys have slowly but surely been redoing their Marks 1 through 7, then redoing them again. These are 2.0s of the 2.0s. The diecasts, in my opinion, were already 2.0s. Now, the Mark V was just a reissue, and the Mark IV hasn't been announced yet, but seeing as though we have a Mark VI 2.0, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mark IV follows pretty soon after this announcement. I'm hoping that once we're done with this, that's it. For a while at least. I don't want any 3.0s, Hot Toys. Don't get any bright ideas. The 2.0 diecasts, let's leave it at that for like 5 to 10 years, perhaps. Now, that's not to say that the Mark II diecast 2.0 wasn't needed, because the first version was based off the Mark III diecast 1.0 with a couple of tweaks and changes. That's to say that it was a bit too small to scale properly with all of the other Marks 1 through 7. So they've upscaled it, and they've painted it properly this time. No longer is it that flat silver, this time it's properly chrome. It's nice and shiny, and it's movie accurate. I'm not saying that the previous version was bad, I still really like it. This is just so much better in my opinion. It's nice and reflective, and there's even a little bit of pitting and surface detail. It's not weathering per se, it's just some extra visual interest, and you can see it just on that little plate of armor that goes on his leg there, around the bottom. Just a touch of speckling over the top of it, to give it some life, otherwise it would be just a bright chrome silver panel. They've also hit the various pieces with washes in the crevices, so there is separation between the fingers and all of the little armor plates. Now, he does come with most of the accessories that we got with the Mark III Diecast 2.0, including the swap-out little shield piece, which I'm a fan of. There's a ton of really little sculpted details and super fine paint applications. There is a lot to look at on the surface of this thing. Also, all of the rivets have been added in, which, of course, should be there for the Mark II. Now, the only thing that I kind of wish was included that isn't, and I know this is based off Iron Man 1, is a Rhodey head sculpt. Not Terrence Howard, of course, but Don Cheadle. Although, one day I wouldn't mind a Terrence Howard Rhodey. Nevertheless, I'm getting sidetracked. A Rhodey head sculpt would have been a nice touch. The last time we actually got one was ages ago with the Armor Unleashed version of the Mark II. That's not to say that this doesn't come with any head sculpts, though. You do get the Tony Stark sculpt. And I'm 99% sure this is a brand new sculpt, and I know I say this every time Hot Toys show us a new Tony Stark head sculpt. I reckon this is the best one yet. He's got this stern expression with this furrowed brow, the slight wrinkling above the eyebrows there. You've got moving eyes, love that. And you've got the little dangling pieces of hair hanging down the front over his forehead. Not to mention the paint applications are just super realistic for the skin texture. I love this head sculpt. But I'm pretty sure that when he was wearing the Mark II, the faceplate just opened up to reveal his head. It's not like the later suits where the helmet could fully retract or anything. The faceplates would pop up on the helmets in the earlier suits. And with the 1.0 diecast, we got that feature. Whereas with this one, we just get an unhelmeted head sculpt. And as much as I love it, it's not quite as accurate as what we saw the first time round. I was hoping they'd also throw that head sculpt in there. If you do own the first one, then of course you can just pop it on this new one if you want to, but this one should have just come with all of the accessories. Now, the display base is new-ish. The front of it, the nameplate shape is similar to the other circular style display bases we've gotten, and it does kind of remind me of the display bases that we're getting in the Flash line. But they've also added all these gantry bits and pieces around it, and there's a USB-powered light-up effect to make it look like an arc reactor. It's more of a stylized gantry than the actual gantry from the film because, as we all know, with Marks 2 and 3, the gantry was this massive hulking thing he actually had to stand in. Whereas with this, you just got some little armatures around the base. I like this. It's simple, it sets the scene, and it doesn't take up a ton of space in the display. They've also painted the crotch grabber arm in silver. That's so that, number one, it matches the base, and number two, it matches the Mark II, so it all blends in really nicely. It's still there, you can absolutely see it, but color matching it, I do think was the right call. And going forward, honestly, that might not be a bad idea for future display bases in red, blue, or any other color. Just match the color of the crotch grabber to the actual display base itself. Just food for thought, Hot Toys. Now, as you can see, the Mark II is extremely shiny. It's a level of reflectivity that they just couldn't quite nail back in the day. They hadn't figured out how to do proper vacuum metallized chrome with additional paint applications over the top of it, retaining sculpted detail like the rivets, and having it be durable. But then we got the Mando with his chrome armor, and that's the tipping point, I think. That's when they figured out how to finally do proper chrome on figures and have it be durable, and have all of the sculpted details poking through. So now it makes sense that they've also used that paint process on the Mark II. So you do have all of the same opening parts as the Mark III diecast, plus some new ones, having the thighs open up with all of the extra wiring underneath. I love that detail because in the movie, when he pops on the Mark II and he does the surface check with all of the panels moving around, that was pretty sick, and now you can actually recreate that in 6 scale. Yes, with the Armor Unleashed version you could disassemble the suit, but it didn't quite work the same way as this does. This gives me the vibes of those open versions of the suits that Hot Toys have been doing recently. But it's also an actual full figure that can pose. It's not a statue that's in the vague shape of an Iron Man with some opening parts and panels. One of the issues you're probably noticing right about now is he is very smudgy. There are smears all over the place, and that's because they've figured out how to do the chrome properly and have it be durable and have the detail show through, but they haven't quite discovered oleophobic coatings yet. Not for their chrome paint applications and not for their nameplates on the display bases. Maybe one day they'll figure that out, and I guess we'll finally have a 3.0 version of the Mark II. Fingers crossed, no. Either way, it's a fingerprint magnet, wear some gloves, wipe this guy down, do whatever you have to do to make sure that he doesn't look all smudgy and smeared like this one on display at Secret Base. Now, one more thing that I would have liked Hot Toys to have done here is paint the arc reactor and paint the bloody eyes, because as you can see, standing here on display, dude looks completely dead. They figured out how to do so many things with their paint processes, but not how to paint the eyes to look like they're lit up. And you can just give us multiple face plates and multiple chest plates, so you can have the best of both worlds. They've also still misassembled the dart launchers. They're backwards once again, so Hot Toys, please fix that, just flip them round when you actually get around to releasing this guy. The articulation, I would assume, will be pretty much identical to the Mark III 2.0 diecast. I'm okay with that. That guy moved just fine. This guy probably will as well. And there aren't a ton of gaps everywhere. There are the typical ones, like down at the hips. If you pose him just right, it's not going to be a massive issue. At least I don't think so. Overall, I'm super happy with how this guy looks. I've been waiting for this Mark II Diecast 2.0 in the proper bright shiny chrome. This is the finish that we should have had with the 1.0 Diecast Mark II. Finally, they got around to figuring out how to do it properly. I understand it took them a while, and now they've given us the finish we already should have had to begin with. Oh, and as you can see, those shields, you do get one for either side. They do just pop onto the gauntlets exactly like the Mark III. And while this guy does still have the opening flaps and all of the other bits and pieces that can pop out, I don't know how far I want to take it. Do I want to have everything opened up and on display, or do I want to have the suit completely closed up and sleek and clean looking? Because the chrome is absolutely bloody brilliant. Do weigh in down in the comments section below. Helmet on, helmet off, with all of the surfaces opened up, with all of the weapons out. Let me know how you would display the Iron Man Diecast Mark II 2.0, which I have said way too many times. Well, let's call it the Mark II 2.0 for the rest of the video. The faceplate, it's a typical Iron Man faceplate. And there's a mix of matte finishes, like in the middle of that little V section in his forehead, and then the bright chrome. So it's not like everything is shiny. There is a good mix of the black panel lining, the added detail that's done in silver and black, contrasting so it pops out against the chrome, and then you have the chrome itself. Then there's that little pitting effect over the top around the edges of certain panels. So like I said, I am pretty excited to get this. I'm an Iron Man fanboy. I love Iron Man 1. It of course kickstarted the MCU. And this suit is the prototype version of the Mark III, which I'm pretty sure everyone loves. At least I think they do. At least I sure as shit do. The Mark III is the GOAT. Now, I'm getting mine from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I have popped the link to their site in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.